Shavua Tov, Gut Tavoch. We're here tonight, and we're first of all we're celebrating. Michal Laser. We're celebrating the Siyum RAMBAM that we just had yesterday evening here in Safed. The Siyum RAMBAM, the original Siyum RAMBAM was last week in Tiberias in Tveria. But here we had the citywide Siyum Rambam last night, and will be tonight's story will be from the Siyum Rambam Bezrat Hashem. But before we continue with tonight's story, we want to wish one of our dear supporters and hosts for this shir, the Kaplans. The Kaplan family, Mazel Tov, in honor of the birth of their granddaughter, and she Yizku Legadla. They should merit to raise her L'Torah, L'Chuppah, L'Maisim Tevim, and the main thing is we should have, together with every single neshama that comes down, this we're told brings closer and closer the Izgalus, the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. And the main thing is it should be teichef umiyad mamish mitoch simcha v'tuv levav, with happiness and joy of the heart. Amen ve'amen. And
Amen.
Together with this,
a boy, by the way.
A
boy.
A boy? I thought you said it's a girl.
No, my daughter had a baby boy.
So we got it mixed up, Rabbi Isai. So the bris should be b'shah teva mutzlachas, and the bracha is the same bracha for a boy or a girl, and how much more so when we're talking about simchas. It's a known joke by the Parsim, by the Persian Jews, or Persian or Moroccan Jews. They said, what does it make a difference if it's a boy or a girl? Main thing is that there should be a bris. Anyway, we should have, first of all, simchas, and we'll be able to enjoy it with a little music tonight. Hey, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, oh Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeh Lano, Yeh Lano, Yeh Lano, oh Lechol Yisrael, Yeh Lano, Yeh Lano, oh Lechol Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayom, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayom, and in honor of the Siyum RAMBAM, Haaretz, Deyas Hashem, Kayamayim Nayom, Mechasim Haaretz, Deyas Hashem, Kayamayim Layom, Mechasim Haaretz, Deyas Hashem, Kayamayim Layom, Mechasim Haaretz, Deyas Hashem, Kayamayim Layom, Mechasim Haaretz, Deyas Hashem. No, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And the main thing is we should have the Izgalus of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach on a good and revealed basis. Teichef umiyad, mamish, immediately now.
Amen.
So, as we were saying, Amen ve'amen. As we were saying, we have tonight's story is from the Siyum RAMBAM, and the Siyum RAMBAM we had a very honored guest, one of the first shluchim that the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach sent to Eretz Yisrael and to Ir HaKodesh Tzfas, and this was the first group of shluchim. Amongst them was Rabbi Yosef Hecht, who today is the shliach of the Rebbe in the city Eilat, all the way down south, and he is also the rabbi of the city of Eilat. And he was honored, and we were honored to have him for the Siyum RAMBAM here in Tzfas, and he told some spectacular stories from those days, going back in history, from the first and the beginning, the beginning of the study of the Rambam, and the way he told it, it went as follows. When he was down in Eilat, this was in the era. The story takes place in the era that there was the known. How do you call it? Even Rabbi Hecht didn't want to call it the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, because the Rebbe says that it's not even worth the paper that it's written on. But that was the official situation then, and Egypt went and they opened an embassy here in Israel. The embassy was opened in Eilat, and not only was it opened in Eilat, but it was just a few houses away from Rabbi Hecht's home. The Rebbe, they wanted to have an embassy and they wanted to have a venue, so they picked the most royal venue, a few houses away from the Rebbe Shliach. Nevertheless, that's I'm adding. He didn't say that, but he mentioned that it would happen to be in that kind of geographic area. Nevertheless, when this happened, so Rabbi Hecht came up with an idea. Shluchim, they do not only go and continue the mivtzoim that the Rebbe comes and instructs, but they also come with ideas, with hamtzos, with developments, and with these new developments, they come and they also they share it or ask by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says yay or otherwise. So his idea was, since this was one of the major mivtzoim then, the printing of Tanyas all over the world, and the Rebbe said in every single country, every single city, every single town. So the idea was that he would venture to go and to have a printing of the Tanya in Egypt, in one of the major cities. I think then it was mentioned not Kahir but Alexandria, and he wrote into the Rebbe, and immediately, and not only did the Rebbe send back a reply, a positive reply, but the Rebbe also mentioned unbelievable amounts of details in regard to inviting the people, the representatives of the Egyptian government, that they should be there and that they should print an invitation, and the people of the government should receive personal invitations for in honor of the printing of the Tanya there in Egypt, and so on and so forth. Many different details that the Rabbi Hecht didn't go into, but the Rebbe took it on a very personal basis, and gave very exact instructions in regard to the printing. This was maybe 2 years before the study of the Rambam began. The study of the Rambam began in Mem Daled, and this was something like Mem Beis. And Rabbi Hecht went and tried to the best of his ability to go and to meet all the instructions that the Rebbe gave him, and he went and he spoke personally with the ambassador that lived right next door. It was his neighbor. He spoke with the ambassador in order to go into to be able to have to execute the project, and the ambassador told him that he will definitely see to it to try to make sure, because it involves not only getting the visas for the people that would be going in to print the Tanya, but also as far as the security is concerned, to have a security force that would be guarding them from the time that they enter until they leave, and this might take time, but he will try to expedite the entire idea. There was not a week that went by, apparently, that Rabbi Hecht didn't receive a call from Rabbi Groner in New York, and the call was, the Rebbe wants to know where everything is holding, what is going on. And this is the way it continued. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, in regard to the printing of the Tanya, exactly 2 years went by. 2 whole years went by until the ambassador came back, and Rabbi Hecht obviously was nudging the ambassador. It took 2 years until the ambassador came back, and he said he has everything in order. The visas are the visa permits are being given. The security forces, in order to go and to establish the security during the visit, has been secured, and now it's just a matter of when would you like to come. So Rabbi Hecht said, as soon as possible. But then what happened? Then Rabbi Hecht saw that it's basically, literally, right parallel to the beginning of the learning cycle of the Rambam, and then the following year was the Siyum, the first Siyum HaRambam. And Rabbi Hecht asked the Rebbe if it would be appropriate to go to Alexandria, to the synagogue of Maimonides. There's a shul, a synagogue in Alexandria. It's named after the Rambam, after Maimonides. He himself was there, and we're talking in the times of Maimonides. We're talking about over 150 years ago, and if he should make a beginning of the study of the Rambam there in the synagogue of the Rambam. He received an immediate reply from the Rebbe that yes, it is definitely appropriate, and they should see to it that it should be also publicized that there's going to be a beginning of the learning of the Rambam in the synagogue of the Rambam in Alexandria, and thus together with other shluchim. One of the major shluchim was Rabbi Levi Bistritsky, alav shalom, the previous rabbi of the Chabad community here in Tzfas, the original rabbi of the Chabad community in Tzfas. Today, to make the differentiation, his son, Rabbi Mordechai, is Bistritsky is the rabbi of the Chabad community here in Tzfas. His father was actually the Ashkenazic rabbi of Tzfas. They were together there in this venture, this project, and after this, every year they traveled for, I think, maybe 11 consecutive years to make the Siyum HaRambam in the synagogue of the Rambam in Alexandria. Anyway, getting back to our story here. So they went and they made they printed the Tanya. The Tanya was printed in the Rambam synagogue in Alexandria, and they also made the commencement of the study of the Yad HaChazaka, the Jewish the Jewish code of law that the Rambam compiled in the Rambam synagogue. Well, that was very exciting. They returned back, and Rabbi Hecht was about to travel to the Rebbe in honor of Yud Aleph Nisan, in honor of Pesach, the Rebbe's birthday, Yud Aleph Nisan, and he took with him Tanya's. And when he arrived to 770, so he was standing in the lobby. It's like the foyer of the entrance of 770, where the Rebbe comes out from the elevator and goes into his room, usually after davening, after Farbrengen. So so Rabbi Hecht just arrived. He waited there in the foyer. The Rebbe came, and the custom then was the Rebbe would give out coins for tzedakah, for charity, that the young children should be able to go and to give in the charity box, in the tzedakah pushka that was literally affixed to one of the walls in the foyer. And after the Rebbe gave out the tzedakah, the Rabbi Hecht was standing there as the Rebbe was entering the hall that leads into the Rebbe's room. The Rebbe turns to Rabbi Hecht, and the Rebbe gives a hearty Shalom Aleichem to Rabbi Hecht. That's not something that is usual and familiar for all people that all of a sudden come and visit by the Rebbe, even if they're shluchim. It's not something that is a standard greeting that the Rebbe gives, but this was a special one. Minutes after the Rebbe goes into his room, the Rabbi Label Groner comes out from the Rebbe's room, and he looks for Rabbi Hecht, and he tells Rabbi Hecht that the Rebbe asked immediately for two copies of the Tanyas that were printed in the Rambam's synagogue in Egypt. So Rabbi Hecht gave Rabbi Groner the Tanyas that he brought with him, and then after the Rebbe received the Tanyas, the Rebbe sent out a message. The instruction was that Rabbi Hecht should immediately call. He should immediately, and it was Erev Yom Tov, the eve of Passover. He should immediately call the ambassador of Egypt in Israel, and he should tell the ambassador that the Rebbe. He should tell the ambassador in the name of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he is conveying his great thanks to. He's conveying his thanks to the ambassador of Egypt for all the cooperation in order to be able to have the Tanya printed in Egypt. Rabbi Hecht didn't know exactly what he should do, because it was already in Israel. It was already Yom Tov, and here he's calling the Arab, the Arab ambassador of Egypt in Israel, but he was hoping that he's calling and the Arab ambassador doesn't have any Jewish employees working in the embassy. He finally calls and he's praying that the ambassador will answer, and the ambassador did answer, and Rabbi Hecht conveyed the thanks in the name of the Rebbe in regard to the cooperation and the blessings that the Rebbe sent. And then the ambassador on the other side of the line tells Rabbi Hecht, wait, you have it all wrong. Rabbi Hecht is surprised. What do you mean? What do I have wrong? And the ambassador says in these words, the ambassador says, it is not the rabbi that should be thanking me for all the cooperation and for the fact that we had the printing of the Tanya and so on in Alexandria. It is I, he said about himself, the ambassador, that wishes to thank the Rebbe for giving him the merit and the honor of being a participant in such a holy and important project. And he asked the Rabbi Hecht to please convey this message to the Rebbe. Obviously, Rabbi Hecht conveyed the message to the Rebbe, and then on Achron Shel Pesach, there's no Farbrengens usually during Pesach, from the beginning of the holiday of Pesach until the end of Pesach. But Achron Shel Pesach, the last day of Pesach, there is a big Farbrengen, and then in the Farbrengen, the Rebbe went and spoke in regard to the fact, and the Rebbe had the Tanya with him at the Farbrengen, and the Rebbe showed the Tanya that was printed in Alexandria in the synagogue of the Rambam of Maimonides, and in regard to the shluchim of Klal Yisrael. He didn't say just my personal shluchim, my personal emissaries that were sent to the Shluchim of Klal Yisrael, of the entire Jewish nation worldwide, that went and took upon themselves the venture to go into to go into Egypt and to go into the synagogue of the Maimonides and to print the Tanyas. And then the Rebbe mentioned, in a very extraordinary manner, the Rebbe says, and when I sent thanks on the behalf of the entire Jewish nation, on my behalf for the cooperation, so they went and they said that they are giving their thanks to the Rebbe, for giving them the honor to be able to be participants in this project of the printing of the Tanya, and obviously also the beginning of the study of the RAMBAM that commenced there and then in the synagogue of Maimonides. But this story comes and teaches us, and this is exactly what the Rebbe is telling us now in our times, in our age, that the world is ready for Mashiach. And it is not only that they're willing to go and to bear the brunt of, okay, you Jews, you need Mashiach, you want Mashiach. Okay, so we're willing to follow along with your plans. No. The 70 nations of the world, the Gentiles of the world, see this as their personal mission, their personal honor. This is something that they feel is a merit in their honor, that they are being given the merit to be able to go and to be participants in the bringing of the revelation of Mashiach, the revelation of the Geula. One of the major ways that it is done is through the 70 nations studying the 7 Noahide laws, for we know that this is something that brings and speeds up the immediate revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, the Geula Shlema Vamitis, the true and the complete redemption, and the third and the eternal Beis HaMikdash. And our bracha is, no, the Eibusher should help that the Rebbe's words should be followed up, that they should come to fruition on a revealed basis to our eyes of flesh and blood, teichef umiyad, mamish, immediately, in actuality, now. And obviously, we bless the Rebbe, Yechi Adonenu, Morenu V'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach, Chai V'Kayam L'Olam Voed. Amen.